And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the John Gallagher Coaches Show. My name is Jeff Tooley. I'm the voice of the Hartford Hawks, and this is the fourth edition of the John Gallagher Coaches Show. And we're joined by the Hawks' fifth-year head coach, Hartford men, at home on Sunday against FIU. And we'll talk about that in a bit. Also, nice news, Hawks honor with their first America East Player of the Week, Mark Wakama, the senior from Lander, Texas, taking home the honors. And, well, John, looking back at a one-and-one week, a nice road win at Holy Cross, and then a tough home loss on Saturday against Rider.
So we'll start with the Holy Cross game. I thought it was the best complete game we played. Obviously scored 79 points. Mark and Yolonzo shot great. 14-18 Mark was, 5-10 Yolonzo was. So I thought we had great pace of play. And it's a sign that when we put it together, what we can become. Reality is this, we have to continue to grow. And we have to continue to get better every game, and that's a big thing that we have to focus on as a group.
Looking back at that Holy Cross game, you shot the ball extremely low, 61% for the field. That's tough to do at home. You guys do that in a tough place to play up at the Hart Center.
Yeah, I thought we had great pace of play. I thought we really dictated tempo. I thought. We were in a situation where we thought that they were better than us, so we came out focused.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've had some issues with our mentality, to be honest. Especially home games as of late. We've addressed that the last couple of days in practice. But that moves forward to a very good Rider team. That we just didn't come out with the right mentality. We spotted them 11. Maybe even 12 at one point. But we show great toughness and great resilience and great energy when we need to, but it's not for 40. And, I showed clips the other day of the Holy Cross game versus the Rider game to start, and you just saw a different team, just two different ball clubs out there. And that's what I want them. It's not something we're doing. It's the feeling that we have when we take the court. And we have to get that, as a coach, you want to get that edge, and that's what we're fighting for every day. And I think, you're up 61-59 with 1:20 to go. It's not like we got blown out the other day.
Right.
It's about putting it together for 40, and that's, looking back on the week one-on-one, I thought we learned a lot about ourselves. I thought we took a huge step Tuesday and half a step backwards versus Rider Sunday.
Let's talk about the Rider game. Where was that game lost, John, when you looked at the game tape afterwards?
First half, and then the last couple of possessions of the game. But, I don't look at that. Like, I think first half is so huge for us, and getting that to a level of, just the energy level. And I wasn't too thrilled about that. But the biggest thing I have to tell you, Jeff, is discovering yourself. Like last year at this time, Vermont was 4-8. Last year at this time, there's teams out there that really step up. They were 4-8, and two of their wins was against Division II and Division III teams. So you gotta really, keep growing and keep knowing you're going to be good with that confidence level. And that's where we're at right now.
And I think the guys have a lot of confidence. And I want to ask you your thoughts, John. You have a winning record, 6-5 through the first 11 games out of the chute.
Yeah, and not many teams in the past 20 years have.
You're not kidding. Yeah.
So
it's a great start.
We feel like there's a doom and gloom to us earlier this week. It's not doom and gloom. It's about getting better. It's about those 15 games left in the conference play. It's about the conference tournament. We have enough talent. It's about putting it together. And these games prepare us for conference play, and that's what I'm trying to get across to our guys.
And I know this is a strange week with exams, and obviously schoolwork comes first, and I know you gave the kids some time off to prepare for finals and get their papers in and things like that. How did the kids bounce back after the Saturday loss, John?
Well, Sunday off, Monday off, Tuesday practice, Wednesday shoot and lift, and then today's Thursday. We practiced this 1 o'clock today. And there's great energy. There really is. I think we had one of our better practices today. And I think the energies really were coming together at the right time. So it's exciting.
Hawks get real good news. Mark Wakama named America East Player of the Week. 4 for 18 from the field, a career best 29 points, the most points in a single game among America East players this season, and 14 field goals, the most since that terrific player from BU, John Holland, did it back in 2010. Boy, he was a special player.
It was good. It was, Mark was really good that night. He had a great groove going to him. I thought we had great flow to us offensively, and I thought we showed great intensity on the defensive end. It was a great energy game for us.
Wakama, John, he just continues to be impressive, and this is now 4 straight games. It seems like he's found his game.
He has. He's found his rhythm, and now it's time to turn it on. So Sunday's a big game because this Florida International team, segueing into them, they're 6-4, have a great road win at Florida Gulf Coast. Florida Gulf Coast's RPI is top 30 RPI. This is a top, I think they're 101 in the RPI or 100 in the RPI. This is a top 100 basketball team we're playing Sunday.
John, what's been the strength of the team in your eyes so far?
Our strength right now, I think, is our resiliency. We do bounce back after tough losses. We've had some tough early losses, Sacred Heart being one. I thought Ryder was a tough loss. I thought Central Connecticut was maybe the worst loss of my career as a coach because of the lack of energy and passion.
Was that the disappointing thing, the energy at home that night?
Yeah. That was very upsetting to me. But we do bounce back.
You do?
We bounce back with our best game of the year against Holy Cross, and I think there was great ownership with our guys.
11 games into the season, what would you say needs the most improvement?
Most improvement is consistency, consistent behavior, knowing what you're going to get every night from certain guys, knowing what approach you're going to get for certain guys. That's the biggest thing.
Is there an area of concern at all right now?
I think the area of concern is getting Wes and all our guys to stay healthy. Other than that, there's no concern. I do feel really good about the team.
Yeah, and you should. I mean, this is the best start in the Division I era. Guys going through a little bit of a skid right now, but again, you showed the resiliency to bounce back. You just mentioned Wes Cole, who's been bothered by a hip injury. He missed the last 3 games. Is he coming along, or what's his status?
He looks great.
Okay.
He's doing a lot of therapy, doing a lot of rehab. He looks really good, so I'm very excited about where Wes is right now.
John, evaluate the play of the front court for us, and some of the guys that might be not as familiar to the program. If you could talk a little about the front court and then do the same with the back court.
Front court right now, starters are Mark Wakama, who's a first-team All-League guy in my opinion, and Nate Sikma, who's a great glue guy. And then you have John Carroll, who's as talented as any guy we've recruited here. Even in practice, he does some amazing things. And when you're a coach, you got to get to learn somebody's personality, and we're really discovering that right now for him. And then you have Dougal Weir, Jamie Schneck, and Jackie Hobbs. Jackie Hobbs right now is redshirting. I don't foresee a change in that unless something happens. I do see a great growth in Dougal Weir. And Jamie Schneck, he gives you blood and guts every time. I mean, that kid is a stone cold warrior, Jeff. I mean, I can't say enough good things about him. So we're deep there. I think we're really deep. And then it's really understanding how we're going to win games. And we're going to win games first and foremost with our defense and communication. And then secondly, we're going to win games by making people guard us. I think we get in trouble because we try to hit home runs on offense too much. Let the defense guard you. Reverse the ball. Get some movement. Change your movements up, meaning you pass and cut. All right, pass and go to the corner, which we call our shallow cut. Then that opens up different angles for different offensive. When we hit the high post or the elbow, what are we getting into quick? We're getting there. We're just not completely there yet. And when we get there, I think it'll be a really good sign for our program.
John, how difficult is it for the head coach to know what buttons to push for each guy? I mean, obviously good coaches, and you do this so well. Some guys need a pat on the back. Other guys need a hug. Other guys need a little, let's go, right?
Yeah, I think that's just the discovery of the personality, the genes of who you're dealing with, where are they coming from, what's their family background. Are they military? Are they not military? Are they Because background of a person gives you a feel of how they're going to react to certain situations. It gives you an understanding that they can take coaching. Did they have a high school coach that yelled and screamed? Do they have parents that get on their kids? How do they, and then if you don't have a kid that takes to direct coaching, you got to ease into it and really demand that he understands how you are. And once you do that, kids really get it.
What's the most important thing for you when you're looking at a recruit and someone that might come into your basketball program?
Just do they it doesn't matter the color of their skin, it doesn't matter what state they're from, it doesn't matter what language they speak, it doesn't matter. It matters, do they fit your mindset? Do they have the like mindset of the group? Meaning they're willing to work really hard. They're willing to take coaching. They're willing to grow on and off the floor as a human being. That's the most important thing for our program. The willingness, we call it the willing learner. The willing learner. Not someone that's going to obstruct the learning, but really wants to learn.
John Gallagher, terrific as always on the John Gallagher Coaches Show. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back and visit with Hawks Associate Head Coach Chris Kurlofson. That is next. You're listening to the Coach John Gallagher Show here on the Talk of Connecticut. And back on the John Gallagher Coaches Show, my name is Jeff Dooley. I'm pleased to be joined by Hawks Associate Head Coach Chris Kurlofson. And Coach, all smiles in Hawk Nation with a 6-5 start. And I want to ask your thoughts on the beginning of the 2014/2015 campaign.
No, it's been good. It's been definitely up and down in terms of expectations. I think with the group, I think we might have had some high expectations coming into the year, and the seniors have really wanted to go out with a bang, and I think to some extent they put a lot of pressure on themselves, and we've tried to get it across to them is let's just enjoy the last year and enjoy every practice, enjoy every game, and try and make the most of it. And next year you're going to be in the real world. So
right.
I'm happy with where we are. I think we haven't peaked yet. That's for sure. There's still work to be done, but I think we're moving in the right direction, heading towards conference play, and that's the most important thing.
Do you see the seniors putting a lot of pressure on themselves early? Sometimes that's not a great thing.
Yeah, I think especially with Mark, I think he wore it on his shoulders.
Sure. Because he's the guy that the teammates lean to, right?
Right. And I think he put a lot of undue pressure on himself to start the year, and we've worked through that. I think he got out of that funk at Holy Cross, and he played well against Ryder. Didn't get a lot of touches just for how they were defending, but I think he's kind of turned the corner, and whether we want to admit it or not, we kind of feed off of him, and when he's playing well, obviously we're a different team.
Chris, you and I often joke because we both have been in Hartford a little bit longer than the rest of the group, but I want to ask you some of the changes you've seen in the men's basketball program throughout the last few years.
Well, obviously it starts with John and his energy and just the core values that he's brought to the program and what we've kind of built things on, and I think the first thing you have to look at is it's all been with high character kids, no maintenance kids,
sure.
Kids that you don't have to worry about going to class, you don't have to worry about doing the right thing away from the court, and believe it or not, that makes our job so much easier. We're not chasing kids around, and we don't the weekends come, we don't worry about if they're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that's the first thing, and John is just obviously he's breathed a lot of energy into the program. That's just how he is, and I think he's attracted a lot of people who might not have been fans. Attendance has gone up
without a doubt.
He's just put a lot of energy back into the program, and I think this year and years to come, it's just going to get better.
Has it been easier to recruit the last couple of years, knowing the brand is out there? You guys went to a postseason tournament a couple of years ago. You're picked number 2 in the conference this year heading in. Did more kids, I would think, would know about the university now?
I think so, but when we took over, when John came in, we purposely went to where people weren't to recruit kids. We went to Texas, we went to California, we went to Seattle, we went to Australia, and Hartford doesn't have a big name there, obviously, and
Sure.
we're trying to expand our brand and build ties and continue to recruit the same areas. It's actually gotten easier to recruit on the East Coast. With us having won some games the past few years, and we've gotten a couple players from New Jersey and a player from Philadelphia committed for next year. So I think in that sense it's gotten easier, but New England's still been tough for us, and we still want to get a New England kid. It's just it hasn't worked out for us yet.
I don't want you to give away any major secrets, but what would you say is the best selling point for a basketball recruit?
I just think the way that we do things, and obviously with the school academically has obviously a lot to offer. With the Barney School of Business, one of the best business schools in the country, and with the small classroom settings, and I think you're going to get a lot of personal attention as a student. It's just got a great overall feel when you combine the basketball and the athletics, and with the money that we're putting into the basketball program now with the new locker room.
Beautiful.
And, with the new athletic director, Anton Goff, I think him with John, that's a great match. In terms
There's some energy.
Yeah. Definitely some energy, and they've really meshed well together, and that's huge when you're trying to build a program and do something special.
Well, two guys that understand the business.
Absolutely, and Anton's been at the highest level. He gets it. He understands. So we're really, really excited to have him, and he's been just an extension of our staff. He's done a lot of great things since he's gotten here, so we're really excited.
Chris, our listeners get a chance to hear you often on the Scout before the games. We never really get a chance to get personal, and for those that don't know, talk a little about Chris Gerlofson and your extensive background in the game of basketball.
Well, I don't know if many people know. John and I grew up together in Philadelphia, so we've known each other since we were 12 years old.
Has he changed at all?
He's the same now as he was when
Okay.
he was 12 years old. I mean, he would walk in a gym when he was 12 years old, and the whole gym would know him, and either you loved him or you hated him.
But you knew him.
But you knew him, and I'll say this: the more you're around John, and I love him to death. He's like a brother to me, and it's fun to come to work every day and be with a guy that you've known for that long. It's like we're built the same way in terms of how we think about the game. But we grew up together in Philadelphia. My father was a college coach since I was in diapers. He coached at the University of Massachusetts. He coached at Shepherd College in West Virginia. He coached at Savannah College down in Georgia. So it was
How much did he teach you?
It was always in my I can't remember not going to
Right.
practices and being around the game when I was 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. So I kind of always knew I wanted to do this and didn't really have a backup plan. That's what I was going to do.
You want to be a coach.
So it all kind of worked out.
Take us through a game day and some of the responsibilities for the associate head coach when the Hawks are playing, say, on Sunday.
Well, game days, actually, people always say, like, well, what do you do, sit around all day and wait for our game days fly by because of everything that we do. We'll have, we'll come in the morning, we'll watch some film, probably first as a staff. Each coach will watch some film of the opponent that we're playing, and then we'll have a shoot-around with the team where we'll, do some light shooting, probably go through the plays of our opponent and really hone in and try and lock in on what they do and what our game plan is going to be defensively. We'll take the team into the team room, watch some more film. By this time, it's probably mid-afternoon. We have pregame meal at 3 o'clock. We always eat 4 hours before, and that's, if you know John, he doesn't skimp when it comes to the meals. So we have We have a great pregame meal.
I'm glad they include the radio team as well.
Absolutely. And then by that time it's almost 4 o'clock, and players have to be in the gym 5:30 on game days, and we start all our pregame stuff. So the day really flies by. Maybe you catch, like, if it's a Saturday, you catch a couple games on TV here and there. But the day definitely goes by quick.
Now, talk about what happens for the assistant coaches when the game is going on. It always seems like you're the guy that has John's ear.
I mean, I try. John definitely he has a great feel for the game, obviously. I just try and remind him of the little things, timeouts, maybe some subs if we want to change defenses,
Foul situation,
fouls.
things like that.
I try and maybe focus on some of the smaller things. He's more worried about the plays that we're going to run and stuff like that. I'm more worried about probably substitution patterns and changing defenses, what's working, what's not. And as an assistant, I think you have to pick and choose your spots in terms of can't be in his ear the whole game. And obviously he's not going to listen to everything that you say, but we've been around each other long enough where I think I know when to say something, when to not, and just keep my mouth shut. So.
Well, and having the opportunity to be with you guys traveling or to be at some of the dinners or a lot of the scouting sessions, I think it's tremendous how much he leans on his assistants to get stuff done.
Absolutely. He definitely gives us a lot of leeway in terms of coaching and, being a part of it. And I think everyone has aspirations to be a head coach, and he really lets you grow and obviously, hopefully someday grow into that role. And he does that with, the lowest guy on the totem pole all the way up to the highest guy, and I think that's really important.
Great stuff, Chris. Appreciate the time, and we'll see you on Sunday against FIU.
Great. Thanks,
All right. That's Hawk Associate Head Coach Chris Gerlfson on the John Gallagher Coaches Show. All right, we'll take a break and return with the fifth-year head coach, John Gallagher. That is next, and this is the Talk of Connecticut. And welcome back to the John Gallagher Coaches Show. My name is Jeff Dooley, the voice of the Hartford Hawks, joined by Hawks fifth-year head coach John Gallagher. Hartford at home on Sunday taking on FIU, and good tickets still left for the game at hartfordhawks.com. And John, with first semester winding down, exam week, I think it's fitting to ask you to put some grades on some of the areas of the Hartford Hawks game. And I know one area that's certainly been a strength, and you can grade any way you want if you want to use a letter or a number. Let's begin with the defense, which a lot of people close to the program feel has certainly been a strength of this group.
So we're holding teams about 60 points per game. Field goal percentage 43, and 3-point field goal percentage is 26. So I'm going to give it a grade as a B, B plus in that area, because I really think we can get better at it. I think there's certain games where we let down. Teams shoot such a high percentage, but I don't want to, it's one of the reasons we're winning. I mean, we're turnover percent, we're top 50 in the country. We're holding teams at 26% 3-point shooting, which is a great number. We really are getting a lot better on that side of the ball. And I think we're rebounding better on the defensive side of the ball. But when you turn people over, it limits your defensive rebounding numbers.
So you have to take everything in consideration.
Yeah, exactly. So for all the listeners out there, if somebody turns it over, they don't have a shot, so they don't shoot it. Our numbers aren't going to be, from the defense side of the ball, better than everybody else's. So, from that angle, I think, it's getting better, and I think our ball screen defense has been okay. So that's where we are.
How does the offense grade out?
Well, the first thing offensively that is a concern is, I think the games we get into trouble are when we turn the ball over. So I'm going to grade our offense at a D-, not a total F because of Holy Cross game.
Sure.
And I don't like to give Fs out this point in this season. But our turnover percent's too high. The national mean is 20% of your possessions. We're at 20.8. I want to turn the ball over realistically at 13%, 14% of my offensive possessions. So that's, we're at 20%. We got to drop down. Our 3-point field goal percentage is 35%. It's like 135 in the country. It's just okay.
Okay. You see that improving as well?
I see that going to 39%, 38%.
Because you like the breath three is the way the offense works.
Yeah, so we're making 7.2 threes per game. Last year we were making 8.5. So we got to be at 9 makes a game right now. 9 made threes. And realistically, we're getting our shot blocked too much. So that is... these are all areas where we can really, really improve. I think we will improve. I really, really believe that we will improve. So that's my grades.
How about the starters?
So the starters, I think we've talked about making a change. Just because the last couple games at home, our energy level's been bad. I haven't made a final decision yet on that, Jeff. It's like this: the guys coming off the bench are giving us such great minutes. I don't want the guy going to the bench not give me the minutes that the guy coming off the bench was just giving me, and now it's a double whammy. So it's a contemplation of that. But the grade that the starters, I'll just say B minus.
How about the grade for the bench?
I think Graham's been really good. I think Carroll's been good. I think that's a B plus.
Let's get into the personnel a little bit, John. We talked about Wakam and West Cole. Yolonzo Moore is a guy that obviously put a ton of trust in. He started just about every game since his freshman year. Talk about his first 11 games, his senior season.
So Yolonzo Moore right now is playing 35 minutes a game. He's shooting 30% from three. Needs to be higher. 75 from the foul line. That's solid. 24 turnovers, 33 assists. That could be better. So he's close to 3 assists a game, or he's right at 3 assists a game. He's rebounding good. So Yolonzo's a B.
Okay.
He's a B. I know he can play better, though.
Taylor Dyson has been streaky. He had a rough night shooting on Saturday.
He's had 2 rough nights.
And again, you don't have to grade the guy's individual, John, but he's a guy, though, right? You just have to kind of stick with the process with him because 3-point shooters are 3-point, like field goal kickers. They're going to make some, but he's also going to win you some games. We all know that.
He will. I want him to rebound. I want him to focus on rebounding. I want him to rebound better. So that's an area we can get a lot better at.
Corbin Rowe's been an efficient 3-point shooter, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been really good for us. Corbin Rowe, I think, is overall has been our most complete player. He's 43% from three. Corb just does a great job. 34 assists, 18 turnovers, really solid with the ball. I expect Corbin Rowe. I think he's been our best, most complete player throughout the season.
Now, Nate Sikkema doesn't always shoot the ball. Now, is that a concern, John, or he does so much when he's on the floor? Or do you want him to shoot a little bit more?
Well, I think he's open. Problem is, he's got to shoot it with confidence. And confidence is such a big thing, and I think he'll get there.
He did have a big 3 on Saturday.
Huge, and that was a big 3. Cut it to 2. I like where Nate's at right now, though.
Okay.
I like where he's at mentally. I think he's really bringing a great approach to practice, which is huge.
I want to ask you about last player, Justin Graham, who we just seen grow right before us. He's a guy that in about a second and a half took the ball from one baseline to the other. He's an absolute jet.
He's really good. Made 2 threes the other night. Really can play. 23 assists, 16 turnovers. That's going to get higher and higher and higher on the assist total. He really gets it. They say he's playing 19 minutes a game, but realistically it's around 26 minutes a game right now since the early part of the season. I like his growth, and he's such a great kid and great defender. He's done great.
I want to ask you about a couple of recruits because you announced early in the week 3 student-athletes signed the national letter of intent to come to the University of Hartford. Jason Dunn out of New Jersey, another kid from New Jersey, J.R. Lynch, and a Philadelphia kid, Trayvon Wilkerson. Talk about those 3 and how excited you are that they're going to be part of the Hawks program down the road.
Just really excited. I thought, I think each 3 of them, let's start with their high school coaches. They really bring a great, they really are coachable kids. So Jason really, really embraces coaching. He embraces, all 3 of them do, but Jason out of Matawan, New Jersey, really, he's a combo guard. Really, really, I think has a huge upside. Great skill level, tough. We're excited about him. Then you have Trayvon Wilkerson out of Philadelphia Roman Catholic High School. They play some of the best players in the country every night in, night out. He's the best leader on that floor, as the coach said to me. So he brings a lot to the table as far as the intangibles go, which we're really excited about. And then the last one is J.R. Lynch, who's a really talented point guard who's at a prep school in Rhode Island, St. Andrews Prep School. And he is originally, again, great high school coach Nick Marinella from Hudson Catholic. And, I think he does a great job. And I was remiss to say is the Trayvon Wilkerson high school coach is one of my best friends, Chris McNesby, at a Roman Catholic, a storied program in the United States for high school basketball. This year they probably have 7 Division I players on their team. So, we're lucky to get these 3 gentlemen. They're class people with a great work ethic that we're excited about.
All right, John Gallagher joining us in the John Gallagher's Coaches Show. I'm Jeff Dooley, and thanks for hanging out tonight. And we'll get to the scout for FIU in a moment, John. But first, I know everyone's excited about the holiday fun with 2 big games coming up. You play ranked Notre Dame just after the Christmas break, and then you fly down to Texas A&M and go against another powerhouse. Talk about those 2 games, which are quickly on the horizon.
Yeah, well, so we'll skip over FIU just for a little bit. Just Notre Dame, obviously, I haven't not seen a play other than what's on TV because I'm so focused on FIU. But Notre Dame, Mike Bray, great basketball coach, great person, coaching the America East for years at Delaware. Really understands basketball, and he's really, I think, one of the better coaches out there, and they're a very well coached team.
Texas A&M, another team that you're gonna.
They're not extremely deep. Someone told me today, but they are very talented. They're 1 through 7 as talented as anybody in the country. So we'll have our hands full that night.
All right, let's talk about Sunday and a doubleheader. The ladies first, then the Hawks play, and you'll take on Florida International right here. I'm not sure why the game's not in Miami, but we'll play it in Hartford, right, John?
The Miami, I think we might change it. So, no, it's, they have very good ball club coming off the Florida Gulf Coast win. Here's where they are. They're averaging close to 4 threes made per game. They're a team that really defends you. They 12 assists a game, 14 turnovers a game. So they're a team that, is okay with the ball, but they are very sound defensively. They're athletic. This will be the best team that comes in the chase in the non-conference in the last couple of years, other than that LaSalle team that went to the Sweet 16. So we're going to have our hands full.
You've had some pretty good teams come in the last couple of years. Really have. Yeah. It's great for the home fans.
It's great, and I think the excitement around the program is because we're bringing teams like this in.
Wish you well on Sunday, John. Appreciate the time as always.
Jeff, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays for everybody out there. Happy Hanukkah. So I want everybody out there to realize that we appreciate all their support, and come out to the game on Sunday. If you can't make it Sunday, our next home game is January the 7th versus Binghamton, and we just appreciate everybody's support.
And of course, if you can't make it out, Randy and I have the call right here on the Talk of Connecticut. That's going to conclude the John Gallagher's Coaches Show. My name is Jeff Dooley. Have a great night, everybody.